Attention, Kings Island foodies. It's the fall season, and the Tricks and Treats menu has been released. And let me tell you, there's some menu items to die for. Hello, everyone. Alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are, and that's who we care about. So, Don, the treats part of Tricks and Treats, that's my favorite part. How about you?
Yeah, I really enjoy that part of it. Like seeing the different dishes that they serve up, whether it's the treats part of it that you might find at the different locations, some of the specialty Halloween themed food items. It's a really, really good time to go if you're a fan of Kings Island food. And, I've certainly have become that. And it's an opportunity too for the culinary team there to kind of show off their skills and do something a little bit different.
Absolutely. Now, so they released the menu, and we got it pulled up on the screen here for those of you watching on YouTube, and you probably should be. But some returning favorites. So let's start with this. I'll read these off, and just let me know your thoughts on it. So La Rosa's Pizza, Monster Mash Flatbread, potato puree, shredded cheese, bacon, green onion, and sour cream. Would you eat that?
I really like that. I'm not a fan of fruits, vegetables, all those kind of things. So for me, the green onions, I could do without that, but the rest of it, sounds really good. And I remember, when they had the flatbread, different types that they've tried before there for these different events that they do, it's amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this.
Yeah. So I detest onions. I don't want to be torn up in the comments. I get it. Some of you love onions.
Yeah, I'm not an onion fan either. So
green onions are an exception, though. I really like green onions. So I'll definitely.
You think I would? You think I would like that? If I don't like onions, you think I would like green onions?
Yes, because green onions because it's not about the taste; it's about the texture of onions. And green onions are cut up real small, and they just add just a little bit of crunch to it. I think you'll like it.
So it enhances the flavor.
It brings it out. Yeah,
brings it out. Okay.
Next one. This also La Rosa's Harvest Moon Mischief Flatbread. It's Italian sausage, caramelized onion, cherry tomatoes, basil, and provolone. Now, you're not going to tell me you don't like basil.
I do like basil, but we got those onions again. They're caramelized onions. So that part of it to me is, I'm hesitant just because I'm not like I said, onions, tomatoes, any of those kind of things.
Yeah.
Tomato sauce, but not tomatoes, so I don't know. It looks good though. I mean, it looks like it'd be worth trying. It's on the dining plan, so I think I would try it once.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you can always try it. It's pretty decently big portions if I remember the flatbreads that they had in the past.
Oh yeah.
But with the tomatoes on the pizza, it all depends on the size. So like if they're big old tomatoes that are like the size of grapes that are just like I wouldn't like that. But if it's like cut up tomatoes or something that complements it,
I can do that. But you're right. If it's a big chunk, I'm not going to be interested in that.
Yeah. So we're moving on to the French Corner. Now, here's the cool thing, Don. I saw photos over the past couple of weeks of there was a sign outside of the French Corner saying that we're creating a new experience. So we thought like maybe it was going to become a bar or something. But French Corner clearly is going to have food, because it's on this list. But my understanding is they're adding a bar to it as well. But they're going to have witch's pot pie. So it's smoked turkey simmered in a cream sauce with vegetables, topped with a flaky pie crust. Did we lose you at vegetables?
You lost me at vegetables. This will be a no-go for Don, but it does sound good for those that do like vegetables. Pot pies, I do like those. I do pick out the vegetables when I make them at home, like the frozen ones. You heat them up in that. I do like the taste of them. I just don't like the peas and all that other stuff that's in it.
Right. Then the blood bath tomato soup and melted face grilled cheese. So even with a childlike palate like yours, you could probably enjoy this one.
This sounds delicious, Ryan. I really, again, dining plan here. So, yeah. I mean, what do we got? Creamy tomatoes. Oh, no, they lost me at spinach.
Spinach soup. It's creamy tomato and spinach soup. No, spinach
lost me there.
No, you gotta try it. But it's got a baguette with it too. We all love baguettes.
5 main food groups for me, Ryan. Okay, we got chicken wings, chicken tenders, we got pasta, and we got burgers.
Not pizza? All right.
Well, that's pasta stuff. I consider that all the same.
Pizza's not pasta,
Well, I
although
mean,
they
it's
are served
Italian
in the
stuff. So
same
I mean,
place.
it's Italian, so I'll eat that. So I should
All
have
right.
just said Italian foods.
Okay. So next we're moving on to the Kings Island food truck, which will be next to French Corner, actually. And they're going to have the return of the Evil Step Twins, seared burger sliders, pickled jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, caramelized onions, garlic aioli, and seasoned Saratoga chips. And that one was a big hit last year.
Yep. I would take out some of these things that are on there for me. I'm not going to be interested in the pickled what is it, jalapeno. I'm not
Yeah.
going to be interested in the caramelized onions. If I can pick those things out, this would sound really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you could just scrape them off, but that one was very, very popular. The other one it is Mounds of Meat Witch, which is one of those things that sounds dirty but isn't. But it's shaved beef, zesty barbecue, pepper relish, crunchy ciabatta roll, and a seasoned Saratoga chips. Now, where are you going to find a flaw in that, Don? Is it the relish?
No, I don't find I don't like the relish. I really don't. So again, that would it's a deterrent for me. If I'm looking at the different things to eat in the park again on the dining plan, I can try to pick that out. So I think it'd be worth trying. It does sound great, though. I mean, it really does. I like the makeup of this one. I really do.
You would you really disqualify with the because relish is just like you don't like pickles, I guess.
No, I don't like pickles. No.
Do you just eat plain pasta? Like, is that what you have for dinner?
Well, I
Plain
mean,
pasta and plain chicken and
if it's like pizza, I'll put like the pepperoni and sausage and all the meats on it. If it's lasagna, meats and everything like that, yeah. Spaghetti, meatballs, meat sauce, something like that. But all these other little side things, pepper relish, no, no, no.
all
Not
right.
how I was raised, Ryan.
You were raised well. So let's go this rather quickly. But Grain and Grill International Kitchen is the devilish worst one, which is a grilled bratwurst on a stick, pickled cucumber, naan bread, and tzatziki sauce. But that appears to not be on the dining plan.
It is not, but the pickled part, scratch.
Pickled cucumber. That's probably something that would be served on the side. Wishbone Grill, the Irish egg roll, shredded corned beef, sauerkraut, smoked Swiss cheese, and honey mustard sauce. Do you like sauerkraut? Yeah.
No.
Well.
No.
All right. Then Wishbone Grill. This is on the dining plan. Spicy smokehouse mac and cheese, brisket bits, honey barbecue glaze, spicy cheese sauce, and cavatippi. I guess this. I don't know that word. I hate when we do these food episodes because I sound like an idiot because I don't know all the words.
They had me at brisket bits on this one. Yeah, I'm trying that.
Okay.
That sounds amazing. It sounds like a signature thing. Like you would go home thinking about that as much as you did the different rides and the different other experiences that you had at Tricks and Treats Fall Fest.
Sure. Yeah. How can you go wrong with mac and cheese? But very quickly, not on the meal plan, obviously. International Street Funnel Cakes is going to have pumpkin beignets, puffed up fried dough, dusted in pumpkin spice and powdered sugar. Do you like beignets?
Yes.
I don't. I guess this is where we're going to switch spots, but I hate powdered sugar. I hate funnel cakes. I don't like, I guess a beignet's got a little bit more structure than a funnel cake, so I could probably like stomach it, but I'm not a fan of this stuff.
I grew up on funnel cakes. That's where my whole life was at Coney Island, Kings Island. Funnel cakes were just part of the everyday routine.
Yeah, I think I've maybe eaten one. Enrique's, I believe this is a returning menu item, but wicked apple and sausage empanada, Italian sausage, Guri cheese, apples, crispy flaky crust, and balsamic aioli.
Not big on the apples.
Yeah, the apples thing would throw me. I love apples, but the apple thing kind of throws me off. Coney barbecue, not on the meal plan. Okay, the wicked apple and sausage empanada is on the meal plan, but Coney barbecue, Fear the Reaper. This is not on the meal plan. Crispy chicken wings tossed in a sweet heat Carolina Reaper sauce.
Well, they got me to open my wallet for that one.
But here's what's funny though is usually it's the stuff that's not on the meal plan is at places like Wishbone where not a lot of stuff is on the meal plan. But at Coney barbecue, you can get pretty much anything you want on the meal plan. Then they have this, which isn't. I think that's going to lead to like a lot of confusion and stuff. But
No,
I
like
could
I said, I'll open my wallet for this because I'm a huge chicken wings fan. I could eat chicken wings every single day.
well,
I think
chicken's like two of your six categories of
the
food.
different wings that I've had at Kings Island, the ones that they had at the Island Smokehouse this year, I mean, those were fantastic. So, Fear the Reaper, yeah, I'm certainly going to look to get that.
All right, heading down to Coney Mall, Dragon's Inferno fried cheese, pepper jack cheese battered and rolled in flaming hot Cheetos and sweet chili ranch. You had me at hello.
I think
Um,
so. This sounds interesting. Not on the
yeah,
dining plan, but it sounds
not on the
interesting, doesn't it?
yep. Rivertown funnel cakes will also have pumpkin beignets. Rivertown Potato Works. This is a returning favorite. Notorious PIG. It's hand cut fries, pulled pork, bacon jam, cheese sauce, barbecue sauce, bacon bits, and green onion. Now, the thing I like about this is it has bacon on the menu twice.
Can't beat that.
Right.
I think take out the green onion, but if if I could either push that aside or just get them to make it without it, it's on the dining plan. Sounds
the,
like it would be right up my alley.
the green onion is usually just like a light sprinkle. It's not going to affect the food a lot. The other item that's also on the dining plan is Rivertown Spooky Tooth Poutine, slow roasted pork belly, pork wine sauce, cheese curds, and chopped herbs. That sounds a little classy for Rivertown Potato Works, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, now you look at it and you want to go every weekend just to have the food, right?
Oh
I
yeah,
think I think that this is interesting. I think it would be one of my favorites of what we've gone through so far.
yeah. And I mean, we had this discussion last week, but I do implore you, the listener, that like try to enjoy the event. You don't necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to be everything on the meal plan all the time. I understand that
No,
money's
no.
tight and stuff, but like treat yourself every once in a while, and you know,
No, it's like I said, I'm going to get the wings for sure. Even it's not on the dining plan, but I'm buying that because it just looks like it's going to be great.
yeah, exactly. I like to try stuff. I mean, again, I see food as kind of part of the experience, so I'm really gonna enjoy it. And then the park did share a couple of photos, so we'll go through those. But give me just a moment here. Um, so we got
They
the
shared on their
pumpkins.
social media channels.
Right. So this is taken from Kings Island social media, but pumpkin spice cream puff is going to be at the sweet spot. It's a cream puff, pumpkin spice mousse, and bourbon caramel pepitas, I guess. I don't know how to say it. It looks delicious.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if we can't pronounce it, but we're certainly going to be interested in eating this. I mean, it looks. If you're watching on YouTube, and again, you should. This looks like a must have treat while you're there.
Yeah. And then the Irish egg roll. Whoops. Irish egg roll. That's a Wishbone Grill. Which was this on? Was this on the menu that I read, or did I skip this? I don't remember it.
I don't know. But
Yeah,
I'm not a big egg roll fan. A person. I
yeah.
can do without egg rolls.
Shredded corned beef, sauerkraut, smoked Swiss cheese, and honey mustard sauce. Okay, I do remember
Yeah,
seeing
it's
this
got a lot of
now.
stuff on here. Like we're talking about sauerkraut and stuff. That's not me. It's you, but not me.
No, I'm not actually a very big sauerkraut fan, but I am a big mac and cheese fan. We both agreed on this. How's that look to you? Spicy smoked house mac and cheese, biscuit Brits, honey barbecues glaze, spicy cheese sauce, and cavatappi. Um, see,
One you talk about the Kings Island, the culinary experience. One thing that when they do offer it, they do mac and cheese exceptionally well, don't they?
yeah, and now you can see the green onions on there, Don. It's not a lot. It's just like just a little sprinkling of it, so it's not going to interfere with your meal that badly.
And you would suggest I try eating that rather than picking it off, right?
Yeah, try eating it because if anything, it won't really affect your meal that much. And you can always they're easy. They're little loops you can cook them with the fork or whatever. Anyway, Dragon's Inferno fried cheese. This is one we both agreed to try. Pepper jack cheese battered and rolled in flaming hot Cheetos and sweet chili ranch. It looks like lobster, but somehow also looks really really delicious.
Well, now that I see the picture of it, I mean, I like the description when you were talking about before, but now that I see the picture, I mean, this is certainly going to be a must-have menu item for me. Um, yeah, the dragons. Inferno Fried Chicken, Jukebox Diner. So I'll have to write that down. I got to stop
Mark,
at Jukebox Diner.
mark that down. And then devilish worst one, the Grain and Grill, grilled bratwurst on a stick, pickled cucumber, non bread, and tzatziki sauce. This is another one that is not on the meal plan for some reason, but my only critique of this does look good to me, by the way, but it doesn't. If I'm hungry, I don't feel like this would fill me up. That's my only like.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it would fill me up, and also there's just so many different things on that plate that I'm certainly not going to eat.
Yeah, I like.
Again, that's just me. Everybody else loves this stuff, but not me. Just a real picky eater.
Yeah, and what's funny is they call it pickled cucumber, but a pickle is a pickled cucumber. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe if I'd eaten some of this stuff growing up, I wouldn't have had the echocardiogram today, right?
Yeah, if you tried some green onions earlier in life, maybe you would have
things
been
would be different.
awesome.
Things could have turned out different.
Yeah, but it's too late now, and you lived it up. All right. Yeah, let's talk about t-shirts, Don.
Well, real quick before we get into, I'm going to talk about the culinary experience at Kings Island. I mean, I found it, and we've talked about this, that I found it to be outstanding this year. I think I really hope that it would have been nominated and made that top 5 for best food in the Golden Ticket Awards. This year it did not. For whatever reason, it just doesn't garner a lot of traction. And in talking to different people that have a vote, you know, it's the locals know how good the food is, but outside of the Cincinnati market, they really don't.
Right.
And I think there's a couple things that are going against Kings Island. Number one, there's not a lot of storytelling that out there that's really talking about their food, especially that third party endorsement, you know, the food bloggers and the different things like that, getting it in Fun World magazine. Now there's things that they've done like the Cedar Fair, like the whole package thing, but not individual parks. But to get those individual stories and those different signature items, and there needs to be more of that outside of the backyard, that people become aware of it. But perceptionally too, the problem is that when you're voting, if you haven't been there for a couple years, Kings Island's food for a long time, about a 20-something year period, you know, going back to 1990, almost 30 years, was mediocre at best. You know, hot dogs, hamburgers, sometimes the burgers weren't cooked all. I mean, it just wasn't, it was okay. It was park food. There was nothing special about it, nothing that you thought about on your way home, nothing that you really were excited to try when you got to the park. That's changed in recent years, you know, since Chef Major got there. I would say 2018 or whatever. It's really been elevated, but because of how mediocre it was for so long, that's part of the perception. But the other problem is too, when people outside the market think of Kings Island food, they think of Rose's Pizza, they think of Skyline Chili, not Kings Island food. So they don't see it as being something that is park food. You can get it anywhere. So they don't really, that hurts them, I think, you know, having those two things in the park that aren't theirs, that are the signature things that everybody knows for food outside of Cincinnati. So when it comes to getting votes, those are things they have to work on. They have to really do what they can to get more stories and things out there about how good their food is. That third party endorsement. The park can say all they want about it, but it's got to be other people talking about it. And the other piece of it is you got to get people to outside of Cincinnati to understand that it's not just La Rosa's and Skyline there. You know, you got to get them talking about the other things. And that's where that third party endorsements, you know, come into play. So if you're a guest at Kings Island, you like the food, you know, we see all the time, everybody's posting about, you know, pictures of the Beast, pictures of Orion, Diamondback. They just rode this, they just rode that. They're taking pictures of the characters and the different things around the park. But if you're having a meal, you know, take a picture of it. Talk about how good it was. Do those kind of things. That'll help spread the word about how good Kings Island's food is, because it is. And I think the you know, the park can certainly use that help in changing perception. So people weren't voting on what they thought the food was like in the 1990s and the early 2000s, and they're voting on what it is today. So I think the more pictures and things that they can see out there from different people, I think that'll help Kings Island in the years ahead.
Yeah, Insta what you eat. Yeah, I agree, and it's funny because I've maintained it came in with Chef Major, and it started with Chef Nate with like the Reds Hall of Fame grill, because that was just incredible.
Hmm.
He wasn't able to affect the change around the entire park the way that Chef Major was. But when
Right.
Major came in, they set expectations and stuff, and everything got really good, and it got creative, and it became an experience to dine there. Then the 2022 was where it culminated, where it was the best. 2023, they bring in Chef Perez. Takes a little bit of time to get his footing, kind of fell back a little bit. And then 2024, this year, I feel like it's going forward again.
Been very, very good, and been to a lot of parks this year. And, there's some signature items at some other parks in Dollywood. You got the meatloaf, and Holiday World's food is amazing. Uh, Dollywood, I mean, we talk about Dollywood, but Knoebels seems to win this, every year, and they have a couple of things that are theirs, signature things that are theirs that are noteworthy, and that gets them the votes and things. So you have things at Kings Island. You got the pub burger, you got the burger, at Jukebox Diner, which is probably the best burger overall, in the park. You got some other things around the park that are really good, and I just think there just needs to be more sharing on people that are going to the park. Share those photos, talk about how good it is, and that'll travel, and I think that'll help. And the culinary team worked so hard at Kings Island, especially the last few years. I would love nothing more than to see Mark Boyer and that team, get acknowledged, for just how they've raised the culinary experience at the park.
Yeah, and and if anything, if they start becoming world's best food at a theme park, then it's going to be more incentive to further invest in it. So that'd be really cool. But Don, you've had me waiting so long to talk about t-shirts.
You have.
Please talk about t-shirts.
T-shirts, yes. Tower Topics has a t-shirt. It's Carolina blue. It's got the Tower Topics logo on it. Comes in whatever size you might need. Just $22, which includes shipping. So that's a really good deal to get a shirt shipped to you for just $22. Try to go anywhere online and get a shirt shipped to you for $22. That includes shipping. And all you need to do is reach out to us either through X, or you can send us a message there, or leave a message if you're watching on YouTube. How we can get a hold of you. We'll send you the QR code once the transaction goes through. It just takes a matter of days to get your shirt. And, we're seeing these popping up everywhere. It's not just at Kings Island that we see the shirts. We see them at other parks. We see them at Reds games. I mentioned on a couple episodes ago, we saw, there was a picture of somebody wearing one at Coors Field in Colorado for a Rockies game. So Germany, we saw that during the European trip that Ace had, that people were wearing them out there. So, if you want to be one of the growing number of people with a Tower Topic shirt, just reach out. We'll get you one, and just a super comfortable shirt. You'll love it.
Absolutely. $22 including shipping. Great deal. We'd love to see them. We'll be right back with the listener questions. All right. First listener question from Annette G, Mount Healthy, Ohio. Is it just me, or do the cheese conies and three ways taste better at Kings Island than at Skyline Chili restaurants? Annette, it's just you.
You know what? You hear that a lot about La Rosa's, where everybody would say that it tastes better at Kings Island.
It does taste better at Kings Island.
But I'm going to agree with Annette.
Really?
I've had that. I've used my dining plan a few times this year to get Skyline Chili, the three-way. And I really thought that it was better at the park than it was when I've gone to Skyline up the road in Mason, or other places around town. I've got one here in Fairfield where I live, and yeah, I thought it was really good. Maybe it's something about maybe the cheese melted differently. I don't know what it was, but each time that I've had it, I'm like, that's really good. And I'm on the same page as Annette. I think it's better at the park than it is at the Skyline restaurant. So maybe it's like the La Rosa's too, that perception that you're in a park, that atmosphere, everything about it makes it a little bit different. But yeah, I can see why she would say that. It's not just her.
Well, I think that La Rosa's in the park is better than outside the park, because I think they put more cheese on it. That's my theory, and it's probably that you're at the park. Skyline three-ways are not the same for me. So the ones at now, they're still good. They're just like, it's a holy experience when you eat it in a restaurant, though. But the three-ways to me are kind of like, they taste like the kind of skyline you can buy frozen and then you reheat, and it's like, yeah, it's skyline, but it's just not the same.
Yeah,
That's
that
what it
hasn't been
tastes
my
like.
experience with it this year. I mean, I was expecting that because I've had it before there, and it was,
Yeah.
but I thought, I had to get it again a second time to make sure it was as good as I thought it was, and it was, and I got it again, and it was really good. So I've been impressed with it.
Yeah, the cheese conies have gotten better. I remember they were like, you'd often have stale buns and stuff in years past. So those are as good as the restaurants. Now, I will say this. I used to do this menu hack where I would order the fries and the 2 cheese conies, but get all the stuff on the side, and then I make chili cheese fries. They cut out the middleman for us this year. Now you can just order the chili cheese fries. And Kings Island's fries, like they have crinkle fries, I think, at Skyline Chili, but they got like regular straight fries at Kings Island, and that's way better that way. So I like Kings Island's chili cheese fries better than outside of the park.
I haven't tried that yet there at Kings Island, but
it's
on my bucket list.
Oh, it's so filling and stuff because it's like 500 carbs, so it's really good for you. All right. Thanks for the question, Annette. Phil E. from Norwood, Ohio. He said, I often visit Mountain Lookout Tavern, and I think it would be an excellent spot to host a meetup and record a show. What do you say?
I like the Mountain Lookout Tavern. When I was with the Cincinnati Mighty Ducks doing the radio broadcast and PR, we did a couple shows from Mount Lookout Tavern. It was called Mighty Ducks Weekly, and we did a couple of shows there, and it seemed like a good atmosphere for it. So yeah, I mean, I'd be up for that. I don't know who we'd have to reach out to make that happen, but if you got any contacts there, let them know that we would certainly be interested in doing that. It's a nice little place. Got some really good memories there.
Yeah, it's got a cool view of the city and all that stuff. Yeah, we're definitely interested. First of all, we're definitely interested in doing more meetups outside of the park once the park closes. So those ideas are going to be really good. So some of the stuff comes to mind is just logistically just really dumb, because one of the things that I want to do is like, let's all meet up at Jungle Gyms. And it's like, what do we do with everyone? Take them shopping? So when it comes down to it, it's a grocery store.
Yeah.
We'll probably do the Entertainment Junction thing again before they close. That I think
sometime in December would be good to do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do. We have not recorded a show on location, but that's something Don and I have talked about off camera quite a bit. It's something we really want to do.
But that's a good one. Now I think about it, I mean, just going back to my Mighty Ducks days, doing shows there, I think that would be a nice venue for it. The only thing we'll ask Mount Lookout Tavern is that they give you and I some free wings to do the show there and bring people in there.
And if they say no, then we'll explain that 2 of your 6 food categories involve chicken, and
Yeah, well, they gave me wings to do the Mighty Ducks show. I mean, I got free wings and everything for that. So that would be my expectation going in, is that they would give us free wings.
We've got to be more popular than minor league hockey by now.
Well, yeah, we used to get a couple hundred people, 250, 300 people that would come out for the Mighty Ducks weekly shows.
I'm saying if the Gardens was still around, God rest its soul, and we did a live show, just like in the middle of the ice, we put down a piece of wood and you and I broadcast live, we'd sell 7,500 tickets or so, right?
Around there. Yeah, we'd be close. We'd be close. I mean, we'd have to like cap it at a certain number just to make sure, that tickets would sell out in 7-8 minutes.
Well, the thing I like how anytime we do, like, behind the curtain a little bit, this is the 3rd of 3 shows we're recording, but we always go on the stupidest tangents at the end of the shows. But when I was doing the junior cycle,
that's what makes the show. That's what makes the show a little interesting, Ryan, is because you just never know what direction it's going to go. I mean, the guest questions always send it off to a totally different. We probably don't ever answer anyone's questions, so if we don't answer your question, just fire back at us and say, hey, come on, can you answer my question? But
right, yeah, just tweet back at us and we'll ask the same listener question again, and then
we'll figure out a different way to do it. But it just brings back different memories, right? I mean, it just brings up different things, and but yeah, we'd love to get out and interact with our audience and get, we know a lot of you, we've met a lot of you, but we'd like to meet as many as possible. And I think that's what would make it fun, because you get all these Kings Island fans together. It'd be great synergy in a building, wouldn't it? Like Mount Lookout Tavern, you get everybody that just loves the park. They all get there and we all want to just talk about the park that night.
Yeah. Now, one thing we did discuss, we probably won't do a meetup for Haunt because that would be like chaos, but we are looking at Winterfest. So we can have kind of the same formula we did for the last meetup where we'll all watch the parade together, maybe ride the carousel and something else maybe, but definitely want to do that. We'll do a lot more offsite stuff in the winter. We'll come up with some, maybe we'll do scene 75 or something like that.
That would
Um,
be a lot of fun. We can do that. That would
yeah,
be a lot of fun.
yeah. We could go that direction, but Mount Lookout Tavern would probably be an all right place to do it. I don't know what kind of things we'd have to overcome to record an episode like remotely. I did one without you when you were unavailable. I did one with David, the owner of the attractions
Hmm.
group, just in his basement. But that was also like we had all the time in the world. I could set up mics and stuff. I don't know if we'll necessarily be able to do that everywhere, but we'd have to really think about the logistics behind recording the stuff. But it's certainly doable, and I really want to do it. And that way, we could have people on. We could interview
Hmm.
just random people that show up. And what do you love
Yeah.
most about Kings Island? What's your favorite ride?
Now there's the place
You
for everybody to share their stories, right?
Exactly. We talk about your stories, and you can tell them to us
Hmm.
live, and then we can poke holes in your story live. All right. Well, thanks, Phil, for the question. Yeah, we'll definitely give us a look. If you have connections with the Mountain Lookout Tavern people, then see if they're interested in hosting us, and we'll see what we can work out. But
Yeah, lots
all
of
right.
memories there from my Mighty Ducks days.
Yeah. I am Ryan Sir, along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.